1 meal a day, OMAD. What is the reason that you've been following this?
So I usually do OMAD to prep me for a bodybuilding show. It's just a lot easier for me to eat less calories and restrict it to a meal rather than eat multiple meals where there's a lot of potential for me to overeat during those multiple meals. So I like the simplicity of it. I get it done. This is my one meal. I get to eat more. I get to feel full and I get to move on with my day. But this was my first year where I actually considered and am doing it for the rest of the year, just out of curiosity, but also because they moved powerlifting nationals to the end of the year, which interferes with my bodybuilding season. So I was thinking, well, do I need to choose? And yeah, I mean, I'm sure from what you can tell right now, of course, I'm going to try to do both. So I was like, how do I do both? Well, I just got to be leaner, I guess. Let's try to pull this off. And I had just been coming out of a bodybuilding prep where my social media started taking off and I started gaining some weight. And my videos, the performance wasn't doing as well either. So I'm like, that's interesting. But I was like, you know what? Let's try this. I usually feel pretty good upon the initiation of my prep anyways. It's usually those like low, like closer to the show where I start feeling it hit me. But in that period before, it's like maybe I can find a way to make this sustainable for myself. Everyone goes into a cut thinking it's not sustainable. This is only temporary. You got to get back up no matter what. But I was thinking, what if I approach this in a way where I can make this sustainable. I can make this possible for myself. So I approached it with that mindset. So I started with 1 meal a day. And because I eat 1 meal a day, I can eat more food. So if there's something I'd like to eat, whether that's a burger and fries, I can still eat that. It's within my 1 meal. It keeps me in my calories and it keeps me at that body weight I want. So it has a little bit more of that sustainability aspect. And I've also found this experience to just be a lot more seamless. I eat 1 meal. It leaves me more time to be productive, to make content, to work on my community. And I'm just thinking about food less often because I already had my meal. It's like I don't need to worry about what's in the pantry or even worry about potentially getting food coma and that taking energy out of my day and not being able to focus as a result. So there are those benefits. And then I also found that I'm experiencing better recovery as a result as well. And there's a lot of theories on this. One of them is because maybe I'm digesting less throughout the day. My body can devote more to recovery. There are potential other factors, but when I was eating more calories the last couple of years, I'd get 1 good bench session maybe every 3-4 weeks. Now I can maintain a good 5, 6, 7 bench sessions before I have a bad one. And I was like, this is really interesting. And it's not like I'm not as weak anymore because my strength has now caught up to where I was when I was 10, not 10 kilos, but maybe 8 kilos heavier. So yeah, you kind of cut off this experience thinking, oh, this is going to be hard, but then you try it and it isn't as bad as you think and comes with another host of benefits. So
your approach to training and nutrition are pretty similar. You're doing a 7-day split where you're doing a total volume of work that would be spread across multiple sessions for the average person doing what you do. Your amount of nutrition that you're getting in 1 meal is the equivalent of what you're getting across a whole day. And this highlights, given your performance world-class, given your physique world-class, that it's what you do longer term, which is important. And it's not sweating these details as much about 100%. Meal timing, frequency, the workout split with how many times per week. It's what are you doing in total? That's such a good takeaway that you gave us.
Exactly. Yeah, we do get focused on the minutia and trying to optimize every possible variable. But the things that are working might be working for completely different reasons. Like we don't know. There's so many variables at play, even when it comes to our psychology and our belief system. Like going into a cut and expecting yourself to get weaker, you're going to start training a little bit lighter, high reps, and maybe that's doing more damage to your strength than the cut is. And in my own personal experience and even taking clients through cuts, if I can monitor and keep the weights heavy, they end up progressing all the same. And I'm sure they're putting on muscle. They're putting on muscle as well. So yeah, I think we really need to manage our expectations too and just go into things with an open mind. I was like, I don't know, this 1 meal a day thing might not work. I might be losing muscle. I might be getting weaker, but in fact, now the opposite's happening. So interesting. But yeah, there are a lot of maybe smaller things that that occur even mentally for me. Like hunger, I have a different experience of hunger than other people because I've dieted myself down to a bodybuilding show. So it's not as painful for me. It's just a sensation. So it makes it a lot easier for me to stick to a diet than someone else who, this is some of the most intense pain they've experienced throughout the day. So I gotta eat.
Your optimism is awesome to hear, but with the truth being told, being lean, being on lower calories is harder. How do you manage your intensity and effort in the gym, being in this leaner, some would say like more depleted state?
So that's the thing I was confused by for the longest time, especially all of my preps up until this past year was, I'm leaner, I'm more at risk, I'm going to get injured, I'm not going to load the weight, I'll just stick in the high rep ranges. But last year I was like, screw it, let's try it. Let's keep things heavy the entire way through. If I get hurt, I get hurt. If not, I have very valuable data. So I kept things heavy. And I maintained my 4-plate bench up until stage weight. Of course, it dropped from closer to 200 kilos to 187, but I still maintained that. So it made me think, like maybe I'm not as risk as I think, but also there are so many other variables that I kind of get right as well with regards to my joint training and stuff like that, where I can place a lot of confidence in my well-roundedness, and which allows me to push. But I haven't found that being leaner has affected my injury risk. I've actually found the opposite. My joints feel the best now. And in that brief period where I was gaining weight right after my bodybuilding show this past year, I started feeling more aches and strains and weird things in that period than I was all of prep. And then I started this one meal thing. And of course, I'll experience small strains here and there, nothing serious. But yeah, my joints feel amazing. And I don't know whether that's because I reduced maybe inflammatory foods or foods that my body was rejecting, or whether just having one meal is, it has a different effect that I don't quite understand. But yeah, I haven't found that to be the case at all. I've still been able to maintain a training intensity. I've still been able to progress. And I'd say my progress was better than the last 2 years when I was eating nearly double the calories.
Once again, it appears like you're constraining variables, simplifying it, and just not having as much variability in your day-to-day with meal timing, massive fluctuations in body weight, water retention in there. There's so many factors that could be contributing to this. I'd like to think that your level of advancement as well, and sticking within a range of intensity with your weight lifted, is a contributing factor to your longevity. I don't want people to hear this and be like, yeah, he's just training hard, he's putting on an extra 15 kilos on his lifts every session. We wish that could happen, but that ability of having things with your load tolerance allows you to bulletproof yourself, be robust, and mitigate injury risk too.
Exactly.